You walk into a room. There's a client you've never met. Your manager is already talking to someone else, and you have 30 seconds before the dinner starts.
Someone looks at you.
And you know what's coming. The smile, the hand extended, the "so, what do you do?"
In English.
And in your head, you're running through everything you know. Should I ask about their flight, the weather, the project, their company?
And somehow all of it sounds wrong before you even say it.
Kai had 30 seconds. He made a choice, and that choice set the tone for the rest of the evening.
Today we find out what he said and why it changed everything.
Welcome back to English in the Wild. I'm Alex.
And I'm Kim.
If you're new here, we take one real workplace situation per episode and break down the English you actually need to handle it, not textbook phrases, the real thing.
Real situations, real people, real language.
Today, small talk, and specifically why it's one of the hardest things to do in a second language and one of the most consequential.
With us again, Kai, who had 30 seconds and used them well. And Professor Maya, who's going to explain why small talk is never actually small.
Kai, take us back. The team dinner. Who was there and what happened?
It was after the revised timeline was approved. My manager arranged a dinner, sort of a reset with the client team. David was there, and two people I'd never met, one from their Singapore office, one from their London office. My manager was pulled into a conversation with David almost immediately. So I was standing there with the two people I didn't know.
And no one to rescue you.
No one. The Singapore colleague introduced himself first, Thomas. He asked where I was from. I said Vietnam. He said he'd been to Hanoi. And then silence.
That silence, that's the moment.
And in that silence, I was thinking, do I ask about his work? Is that too formal? Do I say something about Hanoi? What if he asks me a follow-up I can't answer? Do I mention the project?
All of that in 2 seconds.
2 seconds. And then I just asked the first thing that felt safe.
What did you ask?
I asked, is this your first time working with our team, or have you worked with us before?
That's a good question.
He talked for about 3 minutes. Turned out he'd worked with our team 2 years ago, different project. He mentioned someone I actually knew, and after that, the conversation just opened.
One question, 3 minutes.
And I didn't have to say much at all.
Maya, from the outside, what did Kai actually do in that moment?
He did something that most people never do in small talk. He asked a question that invited a story, not just an answer.
What's the difference?
Most people ask closed questions in small talk because they feel safer. Do you travel a lot? Yes or no? Is this your first time in Vietnam? Yes or no? Kai's question, is this your first time working with our team or have you worked with us before, has 2 options built in. Either answer leads somewhere, and the or have you worked with us before opens the door to history, to a story.
I didn't plan that. It came out.
That's exactly the goal. We're going to make that instinct conscious so next time it's a choice, not luck.
Maya, why does this matter so much? Why is small talk in a professional setting different from just chatting?
Because in a professional setting, small talk is not filling silence. It is the first calibration of everything that follows. The other person is deciding in those first 2 minutes whether you are someone worth knowing, whether you are curious, whether you listen, whether you are safe to talk to.
Before a single work topic comes up.
Exactly. Small talk is not small. It's the context in which all future professional interaction gets filtered.
So how do you do it well? If someone has 30 seconds at a dinner, a conference, a client meeting, what's the actual structure?
3 types of question. Each one does something different. Type 1, the context bridge. You find something in the shared situation and ask about their experience of it. Example, is this your first time working with this team, or have you been to this city before? You're not asking about them personally, you're asking about the overlap between their world and the shared moment you're in.
That's what Kai did.
That's exactly what Kai did, and it works because it doesn't require the other person to reveal anything personal. It's safe, it's relevant, and it almost always opens something. Type 2, the follow-up bridge. You take something they just said and ask one level deeper. If they say, I'm based in London, most people say, oh, nice, and move on. A follow-up bridge says, have you been working there long, or is it a recent move?
So you're not changing the subject, you're going deeper into theirs.
Exactly, and that signals something powerful. That you were actually listening in a professional setting. Feeling heard is rare, it's memorable. Type 3, the forward bridge. You offer something about yourself first, something small, open-ended, and then invite them to respond. Example, I've been on this project for about 6 months. Have you been involved from the beginning, or did you join later? You've disclosed something, you've shown you're willing to be the first to be open, and you've made it easy for them to reply.
So you don't always have to ask first. You can give something, and then ask.
And often that's better, because now the conversation is balanced. You're not interviewing them, you're talking with them.
3 types: context bridge, follow-up bridge, forward bridge.
All 3 share one thing. They end with a question that has room in it, room for a story, a detail, an opinion, not just yes or no.
But let's talk about the other side. Kim, what's the small talk you've tried in English that didn't land?
Oh, so many. The worst was probably when I asked a British colleague what they did on the weekend, and they told me, and then I said, that sounds interesting, and then nothing. Just silence.
The killing silence.
I didn't know what to do with their answer, so I just validated it and stopped.
That's one of the most common breakdowns in professional small talk for non-native speakers. You ask a question, they answer, and then, because you were focused on getting the question right, you didn't prepare for the follow-up. The response lands and the thread drops.
I used to prepare my opening question so carefully that I had nothing left after they answered it.
It's called front-loading. You put all your cognitive energy into the opening, and then the actual conversation catches you empty.
So what do you do instead?
You shift the goal. Instead of preparing what you'll say, you prepare what you'll listen for. Before you walk into a room, you pick 2 or 3 things you're genuinely curious about, not questions, just topics. Their city, how long they've been with the company, what their role actually involves day to day. Then you don't manage the conversation, you follow it, and when something they say touches one of your topics, you go there.
So the preparation isn't the script, it's a listening map.
Exactly that, a listening map, not a script. Scripts break when the other person doesn't follow them. A listening map never breaks because it uses whatever they give you.
But what if I don't know enough about the topics they bring up? What if they mention something I've never heard of, and I just nod and say, yeah, interesting, and they can tell I have no idea?
I do this. I say interesting when I have no idea what they said.
That fear is real. But here's what most people don't know. You are not required to know about the topic. You are required to be curious about the person. Those are two completely different things. If someone mentions something you don't know, say so. I'm not familiar with that. How did you get into it? Or, that's not something I know much about. What's the part you find most interesting?
That's it? You just say you don't know?
In professional small talk, admitting you don't know something and asking to learn is not a weakness. It's a signal that you're genuinely interested, and genuine interest is the rarest thing in any room full of professionals trying to impress each other.
So not knowing is actually a door.
If you open it correctly,
Let's practice. Kim, I'm the client, Thomas. You've just found out I worked with your team 2 years ago. Take it from there.
Okay, who did you work with at that time? Was it the same team?
It was actually a different team, a different department, much smaller project.
And what was different about working with a smaller team?
that's the follow-up bridge. You took what he gave you, smaller project, and went one level deeper into it. That's the move. Now, 3 phrases worth keeping from today. First one, natural speed. Is this your first time working with this team, or have you worked with us before? Slowly. Is this your first time working with this team, or have you worked with us before?
Is this your first time working with this team? Or have you worked with us before?
Good. Full speed. Is this your first time working with this team, or have you worked with us before? Kai, your turn. Second phrase. I'm not familiar with that. How did you get into it?
Okay. I'm not familiar with that. How did you get into it?
Close. Slow the second half down just a touch. How did you get into it? Try once more.
I'm not familiar with that. How did you get into it?
There it is. Notice what that phrase does. It admits the gap and immediately turns it into an invitation. No apology, no excuse, just curiosity. Last one, and this time both of you. Third phrase, have you been working there long, or is it a recent move?
Have you been working there long?
Or is it a recent move?
Every phrase we just practiced ends with an or. That's not accidental. The or gives the other person 2 doors, and behind either one is a conversation.
Kai, what happened after that first conversation with Thomas?
He introduced me to the London colleague, Claire. And because Thomas had been talking, I already knew something. She'd worked with a different department, so I asked her which department, and she explained the whole structure of their London office for about 5 minutes.
You barely spoke.
I asked maybe 6 questions in 2 hours. The rest of the time I was listening.
6 questions, 2 hours, and what did David say to your manager afterward?
He said, and my manager told me this the next day, he said, your Kai is very easy to talk to.
For asking 6 questions.
I didn't say anything clever. I didn't tell any good stories. I just asked questions and listened to the answers.
And that is, without exception, the most sophisticated thing you can do in a professional social setting. The person who asks good questions and listens completely is always the most memorable person in the room, not the person with the best story, not the most eloquent speaker, the one who made the other person feel worth listening to.
Before the recap, if English in the Wild has been useful this week, the best thing you can do is subscribe. It keeps this show free, and it takes about 2 seconds.
And if you've had a moment like Kai's, the 30 seconds before a conversation starts, when everything feels wrong before you've said a word, share this episode with someone who gets it. Sometimes the most useful thing is just knowing it's not only you.
Comment below. One question. What's the situation where small talk in English feels hardest? A networking event? A team dinner? Meeting a client for the first time? One sentence. Tell us. 3 phrases from today. First, is this your first time working with this team or have you worked with us before? The context bridge. Use when you're in a shared professional situation and need a safe opening. Second, I'm not familiar with that. How did you get into it? The honest pivot. Use when they mention something you don't know. Turns a gap into an invitation. Third, have you been working there long or is it a recent move? The follow-up bridge. Use when someone has just told you where they're based or what they do. Goes one level deeper. And the principle behind all 3, end your question with an or. Give them 2 doors. Either one opens the conversation.
And the bonus lesson from today, from Kai, who barely spoke for 2 hours, the goal of small talk is not to be interesting. It's to make the other person feel interesting.
Writing that one on a wall somewhere.
Next week, we go back into the meeting room, but this time it's not Kai's story, it's Kim's. A client asked her opinion on a competitor's product in front of her manager, and she had about 4 seconds to decide, honest answer or safe answer. We're going to break down what she said, what it cost her, and what the phrase actually is when you need to be honest without being brutal.
Subscribe so you don't miss it. That one took me 3 weeks to recover from.
English in the wild, real English, real situations, real results.